Here's a little secret that most men don't realize. Women aren't just attracted to looks, height, or money. Some of the most magnetic qualities in a man are actually the ones you'd never guess. Traits that are subtle, unusual, and almost invisible if you don't know what to look for. And yes, science actually backs it up. I know what you're thinking. Come on, isn't attraction mostly physical? Number. Physical attraction grabs attention, but it's these less obvious qualities that keep her thinking about you, that make her feel drawn in ways she can't explain. And what's wild is that most men completely overlook them because they don't fit the traditional rules of dating. Here's the truth. Women notice how a man handles himself in small, everyday moments. She notices how you respond under pressure, how curious you are about the world, or even how you laugh when things go wrong. These things aren't flashy. They're not what other guys are showing off. But that's exactly why they're magnetic, because they signal something deeper, something primal. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 unusual traits that secretly make men irresistible to women. These aren't the obvious traits you hear in every dating tip article. These are backed by research, psychology, and real-world observation. I'm going to show you why these traits work, how women respond to them subconsciously, and how you can start cultivating them naturally without pretending to be someone you're not. By the end of this, you're going to start noticing how women respond differently to men who embody these traits. And if you're willing to embrace them, you'll start attracting women in a way that feels effortless, authentic, and lasting. 1. Curiosity over confidence. Why asking questions beats bragging. Let's start with something most men get wrong. Confidence isn't always what makes a woman notice you. Sure, confidence is important, but here's the thing. Women are drawn to men who show genuine curiosity about the world and about her. It's subtle, but it's powerful. A man who listens, who asks thoughtful questions, who seems genuinely interested in understanding people. That energy is magnetic. Think about the last time a woman got truly engaged in a conversation with a man. Was it the guy who talked endlessly about himself? Or the one who asked questions that made her feel seen and heard? Exactly. Curiosity signals intelligence, empathy, and a life that's rich enough to be interesting. And women notice that instantly. I've watched men in bars, cafes, even at work events, and the difference is obvious. The guy who's quietly curious, asking me about my thoughts or my day, instantly feels more attractive than the one who's trying to impress with stories of his achievements. There's no arrogance, no forced charm, just interest. And that interest makes her feel validated, which is intoxicating. Now, here's what makes this trait unusual. Most men confuse curiosity with weakness. They think, if I ask questions, I'm showing neediness. But that's wrong. True curiosity comes from a place of security. You're not asking to win approval. You're asking because you're genuinely engaged with life and with her. That's a subtle kind of dominance, the kind that says, I'm confident enough in myself to be interested in you, not just in impressing you. And here's where science backs it up. Studies in psychology show that people who are curious about others are perceived as more intelligent, trustworthy, and attractive. Attraction isn't just about looks, it's about connection. And curiosity fuels connection faster than any line or display of confidence ever could. So next time you meet a woman, pause before you launch into your achievements or flex your status. Instead, ask her about what she's passionate about. Listen carefully. Respond thoughtfully. That small shift, from talking at her to engaging with her, transforms how she experiences you. Suddenly, you're not just another guy trying to impress. You're someone who sparks her mind and her curiosity. 2. The calm factor. Why emotional stability makes you magnetic. Here's one of the most overlooked traits that makes men attractive: calmness. Not just, I'm chill calm, but the kind of emotional stability that makes a woman feel safe without her even realizing it. Women notice energy before words, and there's something incredibly magnetic about a man who can handle himself under pressure without overreacting. Think about it. When a woman meets a man who gets stressed easily, who gets defensive over small things, or who's constantly seeking validation, her attraction drops fast. She doesn't need a perfect man. She needs someone who is grounded. That calm energy communicates strength, control, and maturity in a way that looks effortless but is actually incredibly rare. Emotional stability doesn't mean you never get upset. It means you manage your reactions and your energy. You can feel frustration or disappointment, but you don't let it dominate your behavior. Women notice this because it creates a space where she feels safe to relax, to open up, and even to be a little vulnerable herself. That safety is a huge part of attraction. Science actually supports this. Studies in behavioral psychology show that women are drawn to partners who display consistent, predictable emotional patterns. Stability signals reliability, and reliability signals long-term potential. Even subconsciously, you don't have to tell her you're stable. She feels it in how you carry yourself, how you handle a stressful situation, or how you respond when things don't go your way. Calm men also make women curious. There's a certain mystery in someone who isn't easily rattled. She'll wonder what makes him tick, what he's capable of, and why he seems unshakable. That curiosity leads to deeper emotional engagement, which turns initial attraction into lasting interest. The best part is that emotional stability is teachable. You don't need to be born unshakable. Small habits like pausing before you react, practicing self-awareness, and prioritizing your own emotional control can dramatically shift how women perceive you. Over time, this creates a magnetic aura. 3. Subtle humor that works wonders. Even when you're not funny, let's talk about humor. Most men assume that to be attractive, they have to be a comedian, constantly making women laugh with clever jokes or outrageous stories. But the truth is, it's not about being funny, it's about how you make her feel with your humor. Subtle, effortless humor is far more magnetic than trying too hard. Women respond to humor that shows a man is relaxed, confident, and in control. Even a small smirk, a playful tease, or a witty observation can create attraction. It's less about punchlines and more about energy. Humor demonstrates that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you don't take yourself too seriously, and that you can handle life with a little lightness. That energy alone makes women curious and engaged. Here's the subtlety most men miss. The best humor is observational and natural. It's noticing something about the situation, the environment, or even her quirks in a playful, non-critical way. When done right, it's like an invisible thread that draws her closer. She feels understood, seen, and entertained all at once. You're not trying to impress, you're connecting. Another reason subtle humor works is that it's unpredictable. A woman will never be fully sure when or how you'll make her smile. That little unpredictability keeps her mentally engaged. Attraction isn't about certainty. It's about curiosity, anticipation, and a sense of emotional play. When she's mentally invested, she starts associating you with positive feelings and enjoyment, which deepens her connection to you. Science also supports this. Research in evolutionary psychology shows that women tend to value men who can create positive emotional experiences. Humor signals intelligence, creativity, and social confidence, all traits that subconsciously communicate a man's genetic and emotional fitness. Even if you're not naturally hilarious, cultivating subtle humor and playful banter is enough to tap into this effect. The key takeaway is this: don't try to be a stand-up comic. Instead, focus on creating light, engaging moments that make her feel good around you. Humor isn't a skill to perform. It's an energy to radiate. When done with ease and confidence, it makes you memorable, attractive, and irresistible, even if your jokes are more charm than punchline. 4. The unseen power of kindness and why it screams masculinity. Here's a truth that surprises most men. Kindness is incredibly attractive. Not in a soft, weak way, but in a confident, masculine way. Women notice it immediately when a man treats others with respect, patience, and consideration. It's subtle, often unconscious, and yet it creates an aura of reliability and strength that's hard to resist. Kindness isn't about being a pushover. It's about having the confidence to act decently regardless of what anyone thinks. A man who helps someone without expecting recognition, who listens attentively, or who handles small acts of daily life with grace, communicates something powerful. He has self-control, integrity, and a strong moral compass. These traits aren't flashy, but they're magnetic. Women pick up on these cues because they signal emotional maturity. A man who is consistently kind demonstrates that he can manage his impulses and emotions. He's stable, dependable, and trustworthy. That emotional consistency is exactly what women are wired to seek. It's not about scoring points with her. It's about showing that your character holds up under scrutiny, even when she's not watching closely. Interestingly, science backs this up. Studies in social psychology show that pro-social behavior, helping others, showing empathy, treating people well, increases perceived attractiveness. Women respond to men who create positive experiences because it signals that he's capable of maintaining strong, supportive relationships. In other words, kindness is not weakness. It's a form of social and emotional dominance that women subconsciously recognize as valuable. Kindness also amplifies other traits like humor, curiosity, and calmness. When a man is kind, his confidence doesn't feel arrogant. It feels inviting. His humor doesn't feel self-serving. It feels playful and inclusive. His curiosity doesn't feel intrusive. It feels genuinely engaging. That combination of traits creates a magnetic energy that draws women in without force. 5. Passion and purpose. How being interested draws her. In one of the most magnetic traits a man can have isn't how he looks or how smooth he talks. It's having passion and purpose. Women are drawn to men who have something in their life that excites them, something that fuels their energy and makes them feel alive. That drive, that spark, is contagious, and it makes her want to be around you. I remember meeting a man once who was completely absorbed in a small creative project he loved. He wasn't flashy, he didn't boast, but the way he spoke about his work was alive, genuine, and engaging. His eyes lit up, his voice had rhythm, and he laughed naturally. I couldn't help but be drawn in, not because of the project itself, but because of the energy it gave him. It was magnetic. You could feel that he had a life that mattered to him and that made him instantly attractive. Passion signals that a man is capable of focus, discipline, and commitment. Women are wired to notice that because it's a subtle indicator of long-term potential. When you care about something deeply, it shows that you can invest your energy in meaningful ways. That same energy transfers to relationships. She feels that you are capable of care, attention, and devotion in the right context. Purpose also communicates independence. A man with a clear direction doesn't revolve his life around her validation. He has his own goals, hobbies, and ambitions, which makes him more desirable. Women are naturally drawn to men who lead their own lives rather than following the crowd or constantly seeking approval. Purpose is attractive because it creates a sense of depth and complexity, something that looks effortless but is incredibly magnetic. Here's the key. You don't have to have a billion-dollar goal or some epic mission. It's about showing consistent engagement with something that matters to you. The energy that comes from being genuinely invested in your own life is powerful, irresistible even. Women notice when you're fully alive in your own world because it makes them curious and excited to be around you. When a man exudes genuine passion and purpose, he doesn't have to chase. His energy pulls women in naturally. That drive and curiosity make her feel that being around him isn't just pleasant. It's enriching, inspiring, and impossible to forget. 6. Mystery isn't about secrets, it's about energy. Let's get one thing straight. Mystery isn't about hiding your life or playing mind games. It's about energy. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't give everything away immediately, who maintain an aura that makes her curious, intrigued, and engaged. Mystery is magnetic because it sparks emotional and mental investment without you having to try. When a man is overly available or predictable, women can lose interest quickly. There's no challenge, no subtle tension, no anticipation. But a man who keeps his life interesting, who has boundaries, hobbies, and experiences she doesn't fully know about, automatically becomes more attractive. That doesn't mean being manipulative. It means being fully engaged with your own life. Your energy says, I have a full life, and you're welcome to be a part of it. That statement alone is magnetic. Women are wired to notice patterns in energy. When you're calm, engaged, and slightly unpredictable in a natural way, she subconsciously begins to invest emotionally. She starts thinking about you when you're not around, wondering what you're doing, and anticipating the next time she'll see you. Mystery creates mental space for attraction to grow. It's the subtle tension between curiosity and comfort. She knows you're solid, but she doesn't know every detail, and that makes her want more. This also ties into confidence. Men who embrace mystery don't need to prove themselves or explain everything. They don't feel the need to share their story just to impress. That restraint communicates power and self-assurance, two traits women are subconsciously drawn to. The energy itself becomes the attraction. Here's a practical insight. You can cultivate mystery simply by focusing on your life, maintaining your routines, and keeping your attention on your own growth. Don't over-explain your actions. Don't respond immediately to every message, and don't feel pressured to share your thoughts before you're ready. The space you create allows her curiosity to develop naturally, which strengthens her emotional investment. 7. Your unique quirks are your secret weapon. Here's something most men never hear. Your quirks, the little things you think make you weird or awkward, are often the very things that make you attractive. Women notice those details. The way you smile when you're thinking, how you get animated when you talk about something you love, your quiet habits, your random humor. Those things create authenticity, and authenticity is rare. Too many men try to polish themselves into the kind of man they think women want. They mute their natural energy, copy other men's styles, or try to appear smoother than they really are. But that's the quickest way to blend in. The truth is, women can sense when a man is trying too hard. It creates tension instead of attraction. But when a man owns who he is, fully, unapologetically, it's a completely different energy. It's confident, grounded, and magnetic. Women are emotional creatures, and what connects us isn't perfection, it's presence. When you're authentic, when you're not filtering yourself just to please, you give off an energy that feels safe and captivating. A woman doesn't fall for the perfect man. She falls for the man who feels real. Your quirks tell her you're comfortable in your skin, and that makes her comfortable in yours. Science backs this up too. Research on attraction shows that people are drawn to what's called idiosyncratic attractiveness, meaning the small, distinctive traits that set someone apart from the average. These traits make you memorable. They make a woman think about you later, even if she doesn't know why. That's because your uniqueness triggers emotional resonance, not just visual appeal. So stop trying to hide your odd habits or your different tastes. If you're passionate about a niche hobby, talk about it. If your laugh is a little weird, let her hear it. If you have a certain way of thinking that doesn't fit the crowd, stand by it. It's your individuality that gives you depth, and depth is what pulls women in. What truly makes you attractive isn't about looks, money, or status. It's energy. Women are drawn to the way you make them feel, not just the way you appear. The traits we just talked about, curiosity, calmness, subtle humor, kindness, purpose, mystery, and authenticity, all create that emotional pull that makes a woman think about you long after you've left the room. And here's the controversial part. The men. Women can't forget, aren't always the most handsome or successful. They're the ones who are the most real. The ones who have depth, who listen, who live with purpose, who can be playful and strong at the same time. Those are the men who trigger both comfort and excitement in a woman. And that combination is irresistible. So stop trying to become the kind of man you think women want. Instead, become the man who knows himself, who leads with calm confidence, who treats people with kindness, and who lives with genuine curiosity. That kind of man doesn't need to chase. His presence alone speaks. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these traits do you think you already have, and which one do you want to work on more? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'll be reading and responding. Remember, attraction isn't about performance. It's about presence. And once you understand that, everything about how women respond to you begins to change.